Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to be showing you the Enkore brush set that is by Crown Brushes. And Crown Brushes, if you don't know, is a really great quality brand of makeup brushes that are really good prices, pretty cheap. And if you don't know who Enkore is, he is a makeup guru on YouTube and he has his own website and he's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, he collaborated with Crown Brushes and put some of his favourite brushes together in a brush set. So this is what it comes in. It can be a bag or a brush apron. Just comes with the clip, and it has the Crown Brush logo just there, and that is his own little Enkore logo. And it opens. It has a little clip to keep your brushes protected, which is good. And these are the brushes, and it's actually really, you get 15 brushes and it's only $62 Australian. And I ordered these from Crown Brushes online and it came in less than a week, like only a few days, so I was really happy, just in time for my clients for the fall season. So these are the brushes you get, and Enkore has claimed that they are dupes for MAC brushes, which is really cool. So in this review, basically I'm just going to go through each brush and how they washed up and how they applied. So yep, so these are all the brushes. So the first brush I'm going to start with is, I'm going to start with some face brushes, and this is, as you can see on the handle, it has the Enkore logo too, and then on the back it has the number and it says what it does. And Enkore also said he got these double enforced, which means they won't come apart, which is great. So as you can see, it's been reinforced. So this is the C309, the Jumbo Chisel powder brush. So basically this is just a large powder brush, like paddle brush. So as you can see, it's quite large, but it's really great for applying just all over face powder for setting foundation or a finishing powder. So it's nice and soft. When I washed it, some hairs did come out, but that's common with big brushes. So yeah, washed up okay, and I'm really happy with the application of this brush because you can tell the difference between a cheap face brush and a good quality face brush, because a lot of cheap face brushes, they don't pick up much product, so you have to keep reapplying, putting the brush into the product. But with this, it picked up a good amount of powder. It's a good size, nice and soft, not scratchy on the face. So I'm really happy with this brush. So that's great. I use this on clients a lot. The next brush I'm going to show you. Is the C406 large duo face brush, which is a duo fiber brush. So it looks like that, and you know I'm a big fan of these, so I was happy to grab this. Just in comparison, this is supposed to be a dupe of the MAC 187 brush, which is this. So that's the MAC 187 and that's the Enkore brush. So as you can see, they are quite similar, except I do find this one to be the MAC one to be more dense. But I've been using this over the last week and it works just as good. It's really good. It has had some hair fall out, but when I washed it, and sometimes when I apply it to my face, I've had some hairs come off onto the face, but that's normal as well. So it was alright. It's really soft, which is great. So just in size comparison, that's the MAC brush. So you can see the Enkore one is quite bit bigger, but that's good because it gives you a lot of control. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this brush, recommend that. The next brush I'm going to be talking about is the small chisel brush, the C403, which looks like that. And this is basically good for, you can use it to contour your face, which is a good size, or applying blush. Picked up a good amount of product, it washed up pretty well. Not many complaints with this one. Did have a bit of hair fallout, but can't complain. Good brush. You can use this to apply an all over face powder too, but I prefer it to contour and to apply blush. So that's that one. The next brush is the C405 Contour Blush Brush. So as you can see, it is white and it has an angle, and that's what it looks like. Sorry, my hands are dirty. So yeah, so this is what this is pretty much used for, can be used for blush or contour, pretty much like the other one, but it's on an angle, so that helps you out a bit. Washed up fine. It didn't have any hair fall out or anything like that. The only problem I do have with this brush is, if you can see, the hairs are straying out of the shape. You can see that. But it's not too much of a problem, but it's a good brush. I enjoy it. It's nice and soft. So yeah, that's still a good brush. But yeah, the only negative with this one is it has some stray hairs that it won't really shape, but it's still good. The next brush is the C404 Small Duo Face. So in comparison to the other duo fibre brush it came with, that's the size difference. So this is good for applying foundation around the smaller areas of the face and concentrate on certain spots, like under the eyes or around the mouth, around the nose, near the hairline. So that's a good brush. It washed up well, didn't have much hair fall out. And it's supposed to be the dupe of the MAC 188, so that's the MAC 188, and this is the Enkore brush. So as you can see, they're like pretty much identical. I would say this one feels a bit more dense, the MAC feels more dense, but this one works really great. I really recommend it. That's what it looks like. It has no stray hairs, stays in good shape. I've used them for about a week, but so far I'm really happy. The next brush is this is a foundation brush, but it doesn't have a label for some reason. Anyway, so basically it's just a flat paddle foundation brush that you use to apply, or you can use it to apply a cream blush. I'm really impressed with this foundation brush. I'm not a big fan of the paddle flat foundation brushes because it packs a lot of foundation on, but when I use it, it's nice and soft. Stays in really great shape. It washed up perfect, didn't have any fallout or anything. It's not scratchy on the face. It's really nice to look at, and it's quite thin, which is good for a foundation brush because it's very precise to get in around the nose. So I'm very happy with this brush. Oh, and I also use this. I also use this to apply primers as well, which is good. The last face brush is the C425 Tapered Concealer Brush. So this is a basic concealer brush just to use to cover blemishes with concealer. So it looks like that, and it's quite thin, which is good. It worked pretty well. It's just like a basic concealer brush really, but yep, so it comes with that. Pretty happy with that too. Okay, now we're on to eye brushes. So these for me were the biggest test because it's hard to find good eye brushes out there these days. So the first brush I'm going to talk about is the C407 Jumbo Shadow Brush, which is pretty massive. It's quite dense and it washed up okay. It had a few some of the hairs are still coming out, if you can see that. But I find these brushes too big for the lid to pack on colour, as you can see. And I do have quite large lids, but for some people it's just too big. Even for me, I'm not a big fan of using the big shadow brushes. So what I like to use this as, you can use it to apply just a base colour, just all over. Paint pot maybe, just put it all over the lid. What I actually use this for is I like to set my under eye concealer with it because it's a perfect size for under the eye. And I don't find it too scratchy for under the eye area, even though it's a delicate area. Yeah, so basically I'll put some face powder on it and I'll just pat it along the concealer and it sets it really good. So no complaints to this brush. I know it's supposed to be an eye brush, but I prefer it for under the eyes. And yeah, so and this would be also a good brush to contour the sides of the nose to make your nose look smaller. So that's a good brush for that too. The next brush is the C415, the Deluxe Shader, which is just basically a shader brush. It looks like that. When I first saw it, I actually thought it was a concealer brush because of the hairs. It just looks like a concealer brush. I used this to pack on the colour. It worked pretty well. Picked up a good amount of colour and stuff. But I don't know if I'll be using this every day. I still prefer my MAC 239. And in comparison, my MAC 239's a bit dirty at the moment because I just used it for my eyes. So sorry about that. So in comparison, it's quite larger. And the 239 has a longer handle too, so that's the MAC, so that's the difference. But yeah, it works pretty well. Yeah, as I said, I probably wouldn't use it too much because there's other great brushes in here too, but it's good that it comes with it. Okay, so the next brush is also a shadow brush. It's called the C417, the Chubby Shadow Brush. And also, again, in comparison to the MAC 239, it's quite larger and it's a lot thicker than the 239. It's quite dense, which is good. And I really like this to pack colour on the eyes. It picks up a really good amount of colour and it just packs the colour on. So I'm really happy with this brush. I didn't expect it to work so well because it was so chubby. But yeah, it works really well and I'm happy with this. It washed up fine. So yeah. It's not too soft, but you need a more stiff brush to pack colour on, so that works well. The next brush I'm going to talk to you about is the C200 Deluxe Crease brush. So basically this is supposed to be the dupe of the MAC 224, and at the moment I only have the MAC 226, which is a smaller version of the 224. So this is the MAC and this is the Enkore. As you can see, they have similar shape, and the handle, the Enkore is a bit shorter, but that's okay. But anyway, I use this, it works okay. It's really supposed to be used for it's for the crease, and it does fit well into the crease, as you can see. But blending wise, it's not very dense, it's very, I'd say, flimsy. It's not, as you can see, it's just, yeah, not very dense. So that was the only issue I have with this one. I still prefer my MAC brush to this, but this still works good. It just took a bit longer for me to blend in because it is a bit flimsier, but it has a good shape. It's really nice and soft, but if it was more dense, it'd work a lot better, but still, it's okay. Washed up fine. The next brush is the C433 Pro Blending Fluff Brush. So this is supposed to be a dupe of MAC's 217 Blender Brush. So in comparison, this is the Enkore and this is the MAC. So as you can see, so that's the MAC brush. So they're very similar. But the one thing, this did blend out really well. It washed up fine. Yeah, and it's quite dense, which is great. But the only reason I prefer the MAC blender brush to this is because the MAC brush is a lot softer. With this, when you blend in, you're doing circular motions, windshield wiper motions, so you're rubbing over the same spot a lot. And this, it kind of irritated my eye because it's quite scratchy. And with the MAC brush, it's very soft, so you can just keep blending and it's comfortable. But it works great. I'd still use it. I still like to use it, and I like to use it for the highlight colour. But yeah, it still works really good. That's the only downside, is that it is not as soft as the MAC brush, but still recommend it. The next brush, which I was very impressed with, is the C431 Precision Detail Brush. And this is supposed to be a dupe of the MAC 219. So that's the MAC 219 and that's the Enkore brush. So as you can see, they are quite similar in shape, but the MAC brush is more pointy and this one is more dome shaped, but it works just as well, has the exact same effect for lining eyeshadow under the eye. And I also like to use this, I like to apply a colour in the crease, and then I like to get a bit of a darker colour and then go back over the crease to really give it some more depth. And I also like this to use for the outer V. So this is a really great brush, nice and dense, washed up fine, keeps its shape really well. Really like this brush. The next brush I got is the C409 Angle Definer brush, and this is supposed to be a dupe of the MAC 266. So if you can see, that's the MAC and that's the Enkore. You can see it's different in shape, but I was very impressed with the Enkore brush. I used it to apply my fluid line, and it's very precise. It picks up a good amount of eyeshadow if you're filling in the brows. And I'm actually really pleased because a lot of angle brushes, I find they're very, like the drugstore brands, they're very stiff and they don't pick up any colour. But this is great. It's nice and soft, very precise, washed up fine. Very impressed with this brush. Lucky last brush is the C408 Chisel Shader brush, and I've never had one of these before. So it's a shorter version of a shader brush, and it looks like that. So it's the bristles are shorter. It's very dense, and I'm really impressed with this brush. Packs on a lot of colour, but what I actually like to use it for is when I'm applying a lighter colour on the inner corners of the eye. It really packs it in. But yeah, no complaints with this brush. Does good for its purpose. You can also use it to apply shadow here for a really precise defined eyebrow. So yeah, I'm really happy with this brush, really great. So overall, I'm very happy with these Enkore brushes, and the bag it comes in is great. For under $70 for 15 brushes is just amazing, and they're not bad, they're like really pretty good brushes, I find. So yeah, so these are all the brushes, and I'll give you the link below to check them out. And if you're after a brush set that has everything you could possibly need, I'd really recommend this. They're some of the brushes are pretty comparable to MAC, and they're really good. I'm really happy with the Giro Fiber brushes and the angle brush and the pencil brush. Very happy. So out of 5, I'd probably give this a 4.5. because of how cheap it is. It's budget friendly, anyone could really afford it if you're after a good brush set. It has everything you could possibly need, and yeah, and it comes in a great bag, so no complaints here. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll provide all the links you need below, and have an awesome day, and I'll see you later.